Good morning. We've got until 10:55. All right. Is this everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Mr. Fitzpatrick. Some of you guys already know me. You've seen me in your science classes. I'm the science coordinator for the school system. So next year when you get to PH or Fleming, you'll see me there again. I taught for 11 years at Breckenridge, so I might have taught your brother or sister. Before that, I taught 10 years at Ruffner, so I might have taught your mom. When I was teaching at Ruffner, I taught Mr. Bonilla. So we go way back. I can tell you stories if you need some ammunition. All right, if we get this done right. Here's the deal. You were down there with Mr. Nicky right now, right?
No.
What'd you do?
The water thing.
Wait in the creek.
The pH thing.
Okay, great. You did water quality tested with some tablets and some little thermometers and things you dipped in the water. We're going to take a look at that data again. Did you decide that this watershed was healthy or unhealthy?
Healthy.
Okay, well, we're going to do some double checking on that. We are in the Carvin's Cove watershed. Okay? If you drop something from your lunch on the ground, or if a bear goes to the bathroom in the woods, everything that happens in this watershed, from the top of those mountains to the top of the mountains behind us, when it rains, where's all that stuff go?
Into the watershed.
It goes into the cove. This is a reservoir. A reservoir is natural or man-made?
Natural.
Man-made.
Thumbs up for natural, thumbs down for man-made. Vote one way or the other. Yes, natural is like this, man-made is like this.
Oh.
So do one or the other. All right, the people that aren't dead mostly are voting for thumbs down, which is man-made. And that is correct. There are only two natural lakes in the whole Commonwealth of Virginia. One is Mountain Lake, which is on the other side of Blacksburg, which right now doesn't have any water in it. And one is over near Virginia Beach area. Every other lake in the state is man-made. Smith Mountain Lake, man-made, everything. If you got into this lake in a boat and you went down that way, you would come to the dam. There's a dam damming up this creek. Yes, sir.
So Lake Moon Mall
Yes.
is man-made?
Lake Gaston is the only other natural lake. This is the Carvin's Creek. It flows into the Roanoke River. It flows right down through downtown Roanoke and the Roanoke River. Flows into Smith Mountain Lake. Flows out the other end, down into the Albemarle Sound, which if you've ever been to the Outer Banks, it's the water behind the banks. Okay, and then out into the Atlantic Ocean. So what we do in this watershed affects this reservoir, but it affects all the way down to the Atlantic Ocean. The watershed piece is important because that's the water that when you get back to school or home, you will be drinking. We get drinking water from three places. Right there, Carvin's Cove, Spring Hollow Reservoir, which is over behind Dixie Caverns, and a spring that comes up under the ground over near the hospital called Crystal Spring. Okay? Once that water comes out, there's a treatment plant down here where they pull it out, they filter it to get all the particles out, they add chlorine to kill all the microorganisms, and then they pipe it to your house. But the cleaner it is, the better. You have been studying physical and chemical properties, right? Go like this if you're in physical science.
Yes.
Because they're on the benchmark next week. I know because I put them there. How many of you are in earth science? Okay.
Me.
All right. So you've been doing mostly physical and chemical properties. This is what a healthy watershed looks like. Temperature, at or below 18 degrees Celsius. Physical or chemical property? Temperature.
Physical.
Excuse me.
Can I change the temperature without changing the water?
Yeah.
If I make it really cold, it turns into ice, right?
Yes.
Is it still water?
Yes.
Is that a physical or chemical change?
Physical.
A physical change, right? So that's a physical property. pH. I know you've been doing labs, most of you, in physical science on pH. So 7 is what? Neutral. Perfect. Anything above 7 is
Base.
a base. It goes up how high? 14. The higher the number, the stronger the base. Okay? Anything below 7 is
Acid.
acid. The lower the number, The stronger. What have you tested in class? Hydrochloric acid. What kind of numbers will you get? Should be somewhere around 2 or 3 or maybe 4. That's what's in your stomach right now getting ready for lunch. We'd like this to be at 7. pH, acids and bases. Physical or chemical property? It's a chemical property. That's a key thing to know for next week. We're going to look at dissolved oxygen. The air that you're breathing, the earth science people know or will know, it's about 20% oxygen. The rest of it, 80%, is nitrogen and a few other things. Okay? There's oxygen in the water. You know that the fish don't come up to the top and take a breath. They have no lungs. What part do they have?
Gills.
They've got gills that enable them to get oxygen out of the water. That's what dissolved oxygen is. Now imagine that there were, right now there's like 30 people here, right? And 2 teachers. Imagine that there were 999,999 8th graders all packed in. Okay?
That'd be a
Plus
lot.
Miss Bates. 999,999 8th graders plus Miss Bates. That would be a total of 1 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 1 Miss Bates and 999,999 people. That would be 1 out of 1 million. If we counted both of the teachers, that would be 2 out of 1 million, or 2 parts per million. The fish and the creatures in the water are happy if we could get up to 8, 10 parts per million. That's all the oxygen they need in the water. So what we're talking is 10 oxygen molecules out of every 1,000,000 water molecules. That's all they need. You're going to do turbidity later on with Ms. Janicki. So we're going to measure that stuff. But to do that, we need some water samples. And we're going to use our probeware and we're going to use some other stuff to measure this. So I need you to get into about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 groups. 5 groups with 5 or 6 people in a group. So hop up, clump together in a group.